So as promised, there's some really cool things with brackets, and within this lesson I'm going to show you one of the really cool things. So all of these are very straightforward. You could save all, or you could save as. So if I want to rename this and save it as something else, I'd do save as. If I had a whole bunch of files open that I had made updates to, and I can just do a quick save all. So those are very straightforward parts within the menu. But then we also have this enable experimental live preview. We have live preview, which we can do as well. So there's a few different things there. So whenever I enable, and if I go to live preview, we see that it opens up this localhost type server where we've got this port, we've got our index.html. So this is actually running separately off of what XAMPP is doing. And that's what the really neat thing about this live preview is, that if I make some updates to here within the code, I can see it directly being displayed right out on my web page. And then I can make whatever updates I want, and I can see it. So if you're using two screens, if you've got a split screen, couple monitors set up, you can have brackets on one end, you could be making the updates, and another one you could actually be seeing what your web page is going to look like. So this goes for CSS as well. So if you do some updates to the CSS, so I'm going to do an update on that output there. And I'm going to add in a color. And another really cool thing about brackets, they give you the option for all these predefined colors. So that's another really cool thing, because whenever you're trying to struggle to find all those colors, sometimes it does take a while if you want, other than if you're using those primary colors like the red, blue, green, yellow. So it does give you that ability to select those. And now I can flip back to my index page, and I can see that I've already updated. I can see what it looks like on the web page, and that goes for even when I refresh it. I can see that live preview. And then when I go, of course, to the local host, I can see the same thing. And so just one note here, make sure that you've enabled the live preview. So that gives you the ability to do the live preview, because if you try to do it without the live preview, I'll just show you what happens here. So we don't actually have that ability. It's not as seamless as when we're just going directly with that experimental live preview. So slightly different, but you still do get the results and you still can see it. So that's with it checked off, and this is with it. And just to illustrate that it does work without the XAMPP, so now I've disabled my localhost, so when I refresh it, I'm not going to see anything there. But if I go and if I refresh my live server from brackets, I can still see it there as well. And the difference between enabling this and not enabling it, you have the option for project settings. So when you disable that experimental live view, then you don't have that option to set your project settings. But if you disable it, you do have the option to set project settings. If you enable it, then it's just going to run through the default live preview settings. So project settings, you can set actually a local host machine that you want to use for your live preview. So if I do have XAMPP enabled, and if I want to run my live preview on XAMPP, then I would set it up here within the project settings. So I'm going to go ahead and enable my XAMPP again, and the next lesson we're going to look at the extension manager. So extension manager is really neat because it provides you a whole bunch of capabilities within brackets that allow you to bring in really neat things and update your brackets directly through that extension manager. So we'll be looking at that in the upcoming lesson.